everyone, my name is Nurunnabihah and this is a story about what if all sweet food turns into sour. Once upon a time, something unimaginable happened. Every person in the world suddenly lost the ability to taste sweetness. Cakes, chocolates, candies, and every sweet treat all taste sour. No one knew why, and the whole world was left searching for an answer. But how can someone taste something sour? It all starts with the food itself. When you eat a sour food, its sour molecules dissolve into your saliva. These dissolved molecules stimulates the sour taste receptors inside your taste buds. The receptors detect the sourness and become activated. The taste buds then send nerve signals to the brain. The brain intercepts these signals, allowing you to recognize the sour taste. Now that we've seen what will happen if all sweet food suddenly tasted sour, let's understand the science behind it next. So, where does the sour taste come from? Sour taste comes from foods that contains acids. Examples include lemons, limes, vinegar, and other acidic foods. When we eat these foods, they mix with our saliva inside our mouth. The acids then release tiny particles called hydrogen ions or H plus ions. These hydrogen ions are the key to sour taste because they are the molecules that trigger our tongue to recognize acidity. Without these hydrogen ions, our tongue would not detect the food as sour. Here are some examples of acidic foods. The first one is lime, which contains citric acid and has a very sour taste. Next one is yogurt. Although it tastes creamy, it contains lactic acid produced during the fermentation. Lastly, pickles, which contains acetic acid from vinegar, giving them their characteristic of a sour flavor. Although these foods are different, they all contain acids that release hydrogen ions when mixed with saliva after we ate them. Now, let's look at the journey of sour taste from the receptor in our tongue to our brain. When we eat sour food, the food mixes with saliva inside our mouth. As this happens, the acid then dissolves and release hydrogen ions or H plus ions. These hydrogen ions are now ready to interact with spatial cells inside our taste buds and are responsible for detecting sour taste. The hydrogen ions activate the sour taste receptors found inside the taste buds on our tongue. Once these receptors are activated, they produce electrical signals. These signals travel through the gustatory nerves to our brain. Finally, the brain interprets these signals and then tells us these taste sour. So, the complete process is this simple. The food contains acids, and the acids release hydrogen ions. Then the receptors detect these hydrogen ions, and then the signals travels through the brain, and the brain recognizes the sour taste. Oh no! No! Everyone cannot taste the joy of sweetness anymore. If there is something we can do to fix this, so how can we solve this problem? Hmm, now then, I will introduce you to Jang Jang Jang, a miracle berry. This fruit is a unique one that can temporarily change the way we taste sour food. Instead of tasting sour, all the sour food can taste surprisingly sweet. Let's see how this amazing fruit works. But, before that, we need to know what a miracle berry is first. Its scientific name is Syncephalum dulcificum, and it is a fruit that is native to West Africa. The berry contains a special protein called miraculin. Miraculin itself is not sweet, but it has the unique ability to temporarily change how our sweet taste receptors respond, making sour food taste sweet. So, how does this happen? First, a person eats a miracle berry after eating sour food. The protein, which is miraculin, coats and binds to the sweet taste receptors on the tongue. When the sour food is eaten, the acid in the food activates the miraculin. Once activated, the miraculin turns on the sweet receptors instead of allowing the brain to detect the sour taste normally. As a result, the brain receives a sweet signal and the sour food ended up tasted sweet. This effect is only temporarily and usually lasts about 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on a person. Now, everyone can taste sweetness again. Thanks to Miracle Berry, even the sourest food can turn sweet. That's all the end. Thank you for watching.